household the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Beefo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the creme clam sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a special holiday Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. And today we're at one of the top food spots in Broward County and all of South Florida.
Change them in the frickin' country.
Well, that's right. Yeah, why am I still on Timon and Marissa Short? We're at the Katherine. It's downtown Fort Lauderdale. Timon Ballou, James Beard Award honoree, and Marissa Katherine Ballou, the inspiration
namesake
of the Katherine restaurant, which, man, what a year it's been. It's been open almost 2 years. We've been here before we had the full fancy video setup, and we've got the whole Ballou family here. Timon, Marissa, how you doing today, and who do we got adorning you for the holiday treats?
Well, we're great. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys, for having us and spending some time with us here at the Katherine. We love you, so it's only fitting we're in a place of love.
You love me, maybe not so much the group that I try to.
A lot of good energy here. But no, we live in Broward and we hustle in Broward, and we had to go pick up the kids from school. So the girls are here. We have two beautiful daughters. This is Sophie next to me, our youngest, and Kieran on top of Marissa, and a lot of people actually know Kieran from all the years of Sugar Cane, nice. and she was a hostess at Ballou Restaurant.
I can believe that she's a high school junior already. Before you know it, she'll be a senior, off and graduating like my daughter, which I can't believe. But how's the whole holiday season going? And you're in the spirit, I assume. And hi, girls, and thanks for dropping by.
Thanks. Say hi.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay,
hey. This one's she's a shy.
Yeah, this one's the one that wants the YouTube channel.
Nice, good for her.
Good.
Holidays are great so far. We're blessed. You know, we spent a lot of time just buckling down this summer and a lot of reinvesting and you know, growing and really anchoring in on the true vision of what we finally wanted this restaurant to look like, what this activation to look like. And we're excited to start seeing like some Canadian license plates, and, you know, and funny, people coming back. You know, we're ready for the economy to come back, and just not just that, the energy of it. You know, the camaraderie of people.
Good. And people seem, again, I think they're growing up down here in Fort Lauderdale. I'm seeing a lot more restaurants with a lot more diversity and a lot of interesting dishes and flavors, and that's something that you've been a proponent of. And so congratulations, and I know you had noon menu. Look, you have a whole list of accomplishments, and we're going to get to that because what a year it's been for you guys. But before we get into that, just want to put in the good word, because coming up, and this is going to be a really special night because it's part of the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. They do some of these collaborative, intimate dinners, and you've got one coming up. It's going to be Tuesday, January 8th, part of Festival Week, and it's with a special guy, Brad Kilgore from Miami. He's chuckling because, look, Brad's a really talented chef, and I'm hearing nothing but great things about his new spot down in Wynwood. So tell a little bit about what you're going to be doing that night. It's going to be 7 o'clock, and I think there are still tickets left by the time this airs. Maybe not, but go to vlfoodwine.com for the latest. And just what's going to be happening that night.
I mean, listen, it's an exciting week in Fort Lauderdale for the food and wine culture and scene. You know, Phil and Kate have curated a beautiful festival. We've grown to, you know, meet them, learn about them, and become friends. And it's good to see anyone pioneering some type of food movement anywhere around the world. It's really awesome that it's here. There's a really cool one happening in Fort Lauderdale, and that's the event that we like to partner with. And you know, there'll be a series of dinners happening all week and activations and seminars. But we will be hosting a Tuesday dinner with a great friend, our friend Brad Kilgore. I mean, listen, I chuckle because Brad, I feel like I've seen him grow. I remember when he came from out of state and was just, you know, launching Alter, and you know, at that time I was at Sugar Cane, and Sugar Cane was always the bar for all the chefs. So you know, it was always the camaraderie, like the watering hole in Midtown Design District, and even before Wynwood was so popping like it is. So I've seen him grow, and he's an incredible talent
Yes.
to our industry and culture on a global scale. Extremely intellectual, extremely talented, and we're excited that I honestly said to Phil and Kate, listen, if we cut our teeth in Miami. That's my city. It's my home. I love that city. We're saving things for that city. If any of our Miami friends come up, they got to break bread first at the Katherine. So if he comes and cooks at that festival and doesn't cook here first, we're going to have beef. So
how you doing it? Each doing a course? Are you collaborating on
yeah,
everything
I think
together?
we're at like 5 or 6 courses right now. He'll do like, the host or a visiting chef. We always want them to have a light load and have fun. It's more so like, hey, come and see what's happening in the city, try to eat around the city. And so he's coming and bringing, doing 2 dishes. I think we just finalized the menu. He's doing something really cool with a pizza brand that he's launching. So he's bringing some product and launching the pizza as a bread course and highlighting a signature burrata tomato tartare dish he does. And then he's going to do a beautiful short rib dish that he has at Marigold's, and we're throwing in probably a Thai curry because all things on us is a curry right now.
Right, that's
we'll talk about a
all
little
the rage,
later.
which you've gotten a well-deserved plaudits for. And speaking of short rib, we got one of your signature dishes, the one that can't come off the menu because it's too damn good, short rib orecchiette, right?
Again, it's a gift and a curse in a way because I really wanted the Katherine to be, a platform of like what we said. It's Katherine vibes. You come for our energy and our hospitality. 50% of the menu is intended to become signature icons, and this is a dish that has become one.
I'm going to dig in now if you don't mind.
Yeah, we always wanted to have a pasta or rice, something in between bread and then large format meat. So we've accomplished all that. And dishes have slowly become icons. Like, I can't, as much as I want to change something, which we have a lot of freedom to do, we also, being a community and neighborhood gem, the neighborhood's going to dictate what they want to see. So
sometimes you got to give the people what they want, especially when it's as good as this. That is so savory and so stick to the ribs satisfying, especially when the winter, when the weather, what we call gets cold. But it's a really beautiful
65
dish.
degrees.
But that's my favorite part, and it's funny. It's only my, I guess, second or third time here, but I feel like they're family because I just love the two of them, how he wants to be freewheeling,
right?
And his wife's like, but they want this.
Yeah.
They want this. You're getting me yelled at by customers because they want like the 4 dishes that they're used to, and it's like their big tug and pull back and forth.
Is that a fair representation, Marissa?
That and the music.
Yeah. She's responsible for the good vibes, good music, good tunes.
No, he's responsible for it. I just try to keep it
in check.
More low key.
Balance. She is balanced in all things, our personal and here. But she is definitely the cheerleader. And again, she with all fairness, she combats that at times. And she'll go to tables and say, listen, you may not see it again, and he's doing what he's doing, and you should just trust that we have intention, and it's being curated with a lot of intention.
When I say, there's a chef like you that likes to be creative and seasonal and change things around and not get bored. I say it's kind of like the Miami Heat of 10 years ago when you had LeBron come to town and Dwayne Wade. It's like, enjoy this while it lasts because it might not be here forever, but then whatever comes afterwards will, there'll be other beautiful things that'll
That's a
arise.
great example.
Yeah. So that's
look, we've been, since we did the show, we've grown and you guys have grown, but it's something when we talk to chefs that I remember with you that I actually do appreciate with every chef, and we've talked to restaurateurs. Burt Rappaport is one of our sponsors.
Awesome.
And he himself said years ago he had one restaurant workout, right? So every other restaurant he would want them to be like Angelo Elia. He found Angelo Elia. So the chefs would get really frustrated because as a chef, you want to be able to be creative. And that's something I know you work toward. And I know your wife, I was joking, your wife embraces it. It's just funny because she has to pull you back every once in a while because you need to have someone to keep you grounded.
1,000%.
And I think it's great the way you guys work together. I just find it funny.
But the thing is, this is the beauty of a mom and pop, independently owned and operated. It's not corporate. It's something that, and there's the clam chowder fries.
And that's
Mike, this is
often imitated, never duplicated. And hey,
This
How
is
is
Chef
it?
Daichi.
Chef
and
Daichi.
Oh, chef, nice to meet you.
one thing that
Nice
we've
to
been
see
lucky
you.
with is we tried to open small again, like from everyone knowing sugarcane and all the talent I've had go through the kitchen. This is a smaller activation, and we're in a different stage of our life that we wanted everything to be with intention. So we started with like one good chef, then two, and then three. And we've been lucky to have real chefs come through our doors. Like they could be, chefs de cuisines in other restaurants, and they're sous chefs here. And they're just really cooking and getting back to the tangible craft of our industry. And we're lucky that I don't have to be here every night, in the sense that my role,
You have a well-oiled machine in place.
not just
man.
That's important.
I don't ever think we have a well-oiled machine. What we have is a canvas of like, I keep on using the word intention, because I know there's great cooks that are on the road to be great chefs, and they're passing through these doors, and we're sharing some energy together. It's like making music with a cool band,
Right.
and you're rocking out for a little period of time, and they're going to go out and be a great artist, and when you see them with their albums, you're not shocked, because it's going to be like they cut their teeth through here, and they did, whatever they take from here that they add to their repertoire. I see it as a true blessing. So
It's a little bit rock, it's a little bit jazz, improvisational, and
some reggae, some rap.
and here we've got, of course, this is the clam chowder fries. When I tell people about it, some of them go, "What? Huh?"
Friggin' amazing.
And then when I tell other people about it, they come here, they eat it, and then they put it on their own menus. I'm talking about Joe Beja, my friend at Goldstream Park, who's one of our sponsors. And I don't know what your reaction is. Is imitation the sincerest form of flattery? And the fact that, something that you came up with is now.
You can blame us. We sent him here.
Yeah.
We raved about you guys. And Joe's really cool about going out and about and really wanting to get the taste of the area. He's working on 10 Palms restaurants, and he's really brought them to another level. And he said, look, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Hopefully Timon and his wife are not upset. Marissa, I love the freaking dish so much. I'm going to put it on the menu. Please tell them I appreciate what they did. I'm a huge fan of that dish.
Oh man, that's an honor. It's like, I think it is an honor. Listen, all of cuisine has been done in a period of time, and all of us as chefs take inspiration. We have a final word on what we curate and evolve with the idea, but someone has had something similar, and the people eating it ultimately are going to define this dish. I grew up in San Francisco Bay Area, and it's clam chowder out of sourdough bowls.
Right.
Yeah,
At Fisherman's Wharf.
We cut our teeth in Belgium doing mole frites. When we opened, Marissa loves mole frites and she loves fries, and it was like, okay, we'll do the clam chowder instead of bread. We'll give you the fries that you love, and that's the vehicle. People come in and think it's a version of poutine. They define it themselves.
It's funny. It is.
At the end of the day,
Except with
dish,
clams instead of cheese curds, which
Yeah,
in my
it's
mind
a lot
it
more
makes it a lot
refined.
better.
we just want, is the dish good? Does it represent us? Do you feel good when you have it? Yes, there's some nostalgia, but it's our story, and it's just us sharing a little bit of story. And now he has a story, because and then he'll share that story, and together as a community,
And
we
it'll
will
get
evolve
more
and eat
people to
better.
say, "Hey, I want to check out that place."
Yeah.
If they're doing something
Exactly.
that's a little bit off the beat.
If it starts getting to a big deal, and like there's beefing because whose is better, I mean, I don't know.
I presume you'll
I
be fine.
think you guys.
Listen, we'll always be humbled and honored. Listen, that is flattery.
So you guys started this. It was the beginning of 2022
That's crazy,
is when
over
it
2 years.
opened. I can't even remember. Time has
Yes.
become a very warped thing.
2021.
2021,
Yeah, 2 years,
22, something like that.
20.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
it was anyways.
Time flies
sometime
by.
in the midst of the pandemic, toward
Especially
the
with
end.
COVID. With the pandemic.
But again, when you
It's a
first
blur.
opened, you said you called this place a love story, and now it seems like the love is coming back to you. Let me just give a quick rundown of the year that was in 2023. James Beard Foundation, recognition as a semifinalist as best regional chef in the Southeast. We've got Yelp's top 100 restaurant list in the whole U.S. and
Aren't they like top 15
is like
in
number
the whole
12.
country?
And Yelp sometimes I look at their list and I say, but this year their list was
That's
on
nice.
point. A lot of good places on there. New York Times just this past week released a list of their top 23 restaurant dishes in the U.S. of 2023, and lo and behold, what was on there? Not the clam chowder fries, but the Thai red curry snapper dish, which I had on my last visit here a couple of weeks ago, and let me tell you, that's outstanding. And to be placed in that list, unbelievable.
It's fitting and deserving.
And
really cool.
and last but not least, well, it's coming up in 2024, but going to be featured on one of your mentors' show, Michelle Bernstein.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to be doing the presenting, but somebody nominated the Katherine as one of the best restaurants in South Florida that deserves a little bit of recognition and love on Check Please South Florida, which is that really popular PBS show. That'll be coming up sometime in February or March. I don't want to let any cats out of the bag, but all these things.
2024.
People look toward it. Yeah, that'd be great.
So for you, Marissa, what was the highlight of the past year?
She can't figure which one.
I didn't mean to put her on the spot. Giving you this whole list.
I think his nomination for James Beard.
Yeah.
Wife, bragging. It's his third time.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Third time being nominated. But it,
and with 3 different teams, it's like LeBron, where you can do it in Cleveland and do it with Miami.
I need the
and
rings.
Do it with LA.
I need the ring.
You need the rings.
We
You
need
want to
the
get the
ring.
actual. But you know what? This is also
but I feel like the noms are like
it's awesome. But I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, fine. I think for me, it's him finally having his own space.
Mm-hmm.
We're thankful for our past and what Sugarcane and other brands did for us and our family. They were able to get us here, but this canvas is just him by himself.
So damn homey in here. It's so
it's
small and quaint.
The vibe is amazing.
She's the designer.
And I feel like that's all her.
This is all her. It is all her.
I'm very clean.
This is her.
And just giving him the opportunity to have his own thing. We've been together for 28 years, and he always toyed with, I don't want to open my own place. I do want to open my place. I don't. And, we finally came to a point where he said, okay, I want to do it. And he chose me to do it with him. So that's special for me.
Yeah.
And then now he just gets a canvas to do whatever he wants. And the only person he has to answer is to me.
He's smart. He's a smart man.
I guess full circle, right?
So let me ask you, I know you were in Miami, and it's interesting because I'm from South Florida. We actually went to the same high school, born and raised a Piper Bengal. What's interesting to me is you were in Miami, and Miami is I didn't realize, and I get it, Broward and Miami, there's a dichotomy, there's a difference, but I didn't realize how strong it was because I'm from here, but my dad and my mom are from there. So I spent a lot of time in both counties and feel like there's crossover, or at least I thought so. And you two were open and saying, look, it's funny in Miami, they're a lot more open-minded with their tastes and their interests when it comes to food. And Broward, it's not there. And you use the word yet. Broward's not there yet. I feel like it will get there, but it had been at that point a struggle. And you were sort of visibly frustrated about that. And I find it interesting. Within months, it seems like it's sort of catching up. How have you guys found it within this year, this county, this area, receiving not only the Katherine, but your idea was to bring these kinds of flavors to this area and open people's minds to eating in this area?
Well, I mean, listen, we've always been in Broward. We spent a lot of time, traveling all over the world, multiple times living in New York, opening restaurants in Vegas. She's from LA. I'm from San Francisco. We're always touring around these funky cities, the Austins, the Asheville's, the Nashvilles of the country, where you see strong independent food movements. You have the movers and shakers of the industry. Trends are starting in those cities. But we always lived in Broward, and what we'd see operating in these cities is that, Broward would always drive to Miami to dine, but you would never see Miami kind of doing that reverse,
doing the opposite,
right? Yeah. And then you'd always, I wouldn't have to say it. You could attest, and you've been, a critic for so long in this region. You could kind of attest to kind of the restaurant models you've seen. They're either large format, chainy restaurants, corporate, or they're super like fine dining in a hotel. So it's kind of like you didn't have kind of like the street movement of what you'd see in like Brooklyn or again like Austin, where you'd have
Portland,
like,
Oregon, or Portland, Maine, or Charleston,
you'd have
or some of those
really
smaller...
like high caliber pedigreed professionals in relaxed settings and kind of doing their quote unquote like rock and roll version of things. So you can name a ton of restaurants in Miami doing it at any given time, so you have more choices. And as we were looking in Broward, of course, I was living here. For us, it was always. And again, we had friends in Broward for a long time. We're really good friends with Giovanni at Valentino's and One Door East.
And he's back, and that's looking like something
one
special.
of the greatest friends, and he would always. We actually cut our teeth like back in like 2000 in kitchens because his vacations are going to work stages around the country.
He's an insane person. That's his. He works the line every night, and then when he takes a month off, he goes to work somewhere. And,
so he would always say, "Come up here." And then we were friends with Dean James Max and Paula De Silva, and they were like, I think, the pioneers that I knew, in Fort Lauderdale. I didn't really meet everyone else. I know there was like Oliver Saucy, and there was a lot of chefs here. I didn't know them all. I just knew those chefs, and they would always kind of, teeter on what's happening in this region. And it wasn't until, honestly, we saw like David at Rhythm and Vine and our neighbor next door, and kind of see what's happening. The Wilder, and see kind of like the Wilder reminded us of our friends at Broken Shaker, and then we saw Reno and Heritage, and everyone when we opened, it was all things Heritage. Yeah. Heritage for me was like like everything in the conversation was. Heritage.
It felt like I was stepping into a place in Brooklyn or something. It's
just
very,
and I mean, it had intention. It has a story, right? And he has a story, and he's pioneering the torch. So by all means, we are not first. We just saw people that gave us the confidence to say, hey, maybe now we could share our story here. Yep. So we pay homage and tribute. Without them, it wouldn't have paved the way, and we probably wouldn't have skipped right here and went somewhere else,
It just keeps getting better. Real quickly before we take our first break, this is the dish. This is the Thai red curry snapper. Can you describe it a little bit? Because it's just so aromatic. It's hitting me, and I'm going to have to So I'm just going to throw a little on my plate
Like you mentioned, we're super fortunate. We just got a call, and one of the Times reporters said, you don't know me, but we've been in your restaurant.
Oh, Brett Anderson was here.
Yeah.
He used to work for the Times-Picayune in New Orleans. A guy I've never met, I don't know, but I read his stuff because I used to go to Jazz Fest every year, and I just respected his work so much. And then, that paper went out of business, and works for the Times. So you didn't even know he was in here until after the fact?
No. He called and said, hey, I just want you to know I've been in, and this is a dish that was one of my favorite things. I've eaten in all these places, and we literally said like no-ish, and and we're like, so the dish is, homage to Marissa. Marissa's, you can say, she's half Thai, half Colombian. When we eat, ethnic food. The thing about Broward, I will say, is that we always had ethnic food in Broward.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether you're by Lauderhill and we're getting patties or roti.
It wasn't in the touristy areas. It would be along the 441
you gotta go to the neighborhood.
corridor.
You go get good pho, or you go. We shop at Food Town, and you're getting, Vietnamese banh mi's and like
first generation family shops.
Yeah. But they're ethnic. Right. You know what I mean? My kids were born in Broward General, and we're getting pho down the street on 441 while she's in the hospital room. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like what Broward has always been. So with us, it's only synonymous that we have some of our home through the menu to share.
But this is elevated, and the flavors and everything. I mean, what's in? It's a little bit of the
it's a beautiful
coconut milk, and
Thai curry, a lot of ginger, garlic, shallots cooked down in a curry paste. It's macroot lime leaves from our garden, lemongrass, coconut milk, not too much chilies. Finished with what we love, a green papaya salad.
It's a subtle heat. When some people get scared away. Oh, I don't like curry. You haven't tried this one. If you try this, just don't even think of it as curry. Just think of it as a delicious fish dish.
I think one thing that we've learned through all the years of mostly Michelin and these fine dining restaurants, a lot of time, I'll also be honest, you do that, you get your pedigree, you cut your teeth, it looks good on a CV, and it's cerebral. How much of it is soulful? So, a lot of my food, as I started to showcase at Sugarcane, was like the way cooks ate after work. And what we wanted. Where were they really going? Whether it's a taco truck or a sushi joint or a rabatayaki, how do we want our flavors? So I had to evolve and learn, and there's no tweezers here. It's just like soulful flavors. But
elevated comfort food.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. We were somewhere, you said this last year or earlier in the year when we were with you all, but we were at an establishment that we were actually talking to you guys, Swirl Wine Bistro, and it's an African-American couple So people assume it's going to be Jamaican,
Jamaican,
Bayesian, or Caribbean, and they want to do but it's not that they don't do those. They want to be able to, like,
they're global.
You guys,
they have French and European elements,
multi-ethnic kinds of food, and their other thing was what frustrates them is, why does Jamaican food have to be in a freaking styrofoam box?
Right.
Yeah.
Why does it have to only be steak or Italian? Or seafood? Why can't you have elevated?
Why people aren't
Jamaican
willing to
food
pay sometimes for elevated.
And again, that was when we say the Katherine a lot. That was when you remind me of the Katherine, because I remember both of you talking about how, and your friends were here the night we were here too, and they were talking about how you would be like, to me, eating is communal. You kept saying that, and you kept talking about how it's getting around, having a good meal, whatever level it is, and just enjoying it and being in the moment. And that's talking about cultivating. That's what you guys are trying to curate here. And when they were talking about it, it made me laugh, and I was like, that's funny. That is a really cool way of thinking. Like, why do we always have to have this be elevated? Why can't any kind of food be quote unquote elevated?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's doing.
I think the elevation goes with the intention and the intention behind it. You know, grandma's food on Sunday is elevated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's cooked with love. It's intended to. It's being served with love. And again, when you're breaking down those quote unquote stereotypical scenarios, like you're saying, you know, we're breaking bread, we're communal, we're teaching each other about some cultural things that we could be neighbors in this region and not even be aware of.
Yeah.
You
There's
know,
72
and that's
different
that's
types
sad,
of cuisine in Broward.
So
and it seems like on this menu you probably have about 20 of them. And just give a real quick rundown, and it works. It all, you know,
really
there is a harmonious.
food is a vehicle of, like, when people ask me, they all thought I was opening, you know, another Baloo in that sense, but Baloo's preserved for our Caribbean, Southeast Asian roots. This is modern, you know, I call it a new American table. Right. It's a new American restaurant, because this is what America really looks like. Yeah. You can have kids in Ohio wearing a sriracha shirt. You know, and like our pantry,
quickly,
look at your pantry now.
The rundown of the backgrounds again. Marissa, you've got what kind of heritage you've had?
I'm half Thai, half Colombian.
Right, and you?
My family's Chinese, Indian, Black from Trinidad.
Okay, Trinidadian, Trini, of course, that Neki Mohan always remarks on. And, you know, again, it's a beautiful, harmonious blend. The Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival, the dinner is coming up on January 8th. How many people are going to be?
What do you?
Because it's a kind of a compact dining room.
It's an intimate dinner in our space. We close the restaurant for that night. It's about 45, 50 guests.
It's going to be a great time. Yeah. Let's take our first break, and then we'll come back and wrap up with Tim and Marissa Ballou here at the Katherine, 723 East Broward Boulevard, downtown Fort Lauderdale. Did I get the address right?
You got it perfect.
Excellent.
Dinner Wednesday through Sunday.
Excellent. We'll be back after. It's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me. I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices, served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop. It's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting? Have I got the place for you? Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms, and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasta platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi, fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova, or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. We are back on a special holiday Visit Lauderdale Food Wine Fest edition of the Lunchbox. We're with Timon and Marissa Ballou here at the Katherine, a love story, and I love this place so much. I know you guys, we're going to have to wrap it up soon, but what is on tap for 2024? What can we be looking forward to, not just, I guess, here, and also beyond? I mean, do you got any? I know you're a creative type. You always got stuff up.
It feels like they move and shake. You're like pinning them in a corner.
No, I don't want to pin anything. It's not a prosecution.
It's just curiosity.
We move and shake very fast.
Sometimes overnight.
Yeah, I always tell him, like, on our days off, I'm like, can it not just be, like, smooth? It's literally like, life with him is literally either 0 or 100. There's nothing in the middle.
I don't know how many developers or brokers you have. If there's some restaurant deals out there, hit us. Let us know.
Well, things are coming back. I mean,
we're excited to see that. I'll be honest. This was one of the first testing the waters to expand. With more of our creativity. We have some other concepts we'd like to share with Fort Lauderdale. Definitely, we'd like to resurrect the Ballou concept that was very intimate to us.
That got cut short by the pandemic.
Yeah, in downtown Miami, we got our second nom there, and we'd like to bring that back somewhere. We just have a lot more to share with the community of South Florida. We want to eat together for a long time, and make this region very flavorful. Get some big accolades. Let's get Michelin to Fort Lauderdale.
Why not? I mean, once they're in the state, why not have those inspectors come up the road? That could only be, keep aiming higher and striving for improvement. And that's why I love coming in here, because you guys are never complacent. That's a good thing.
Moving.
I guess, speaking of Michelle Bernstein, again, check Please South Florida. Going to be coming up. But you started with her, right? And I understand that you recently saw her. I mean, has she been in here to check it out? Or
Yeah, so I actually started with Alan Susser.
Oh, did you? Chef Alan's? He's Chef a great guy.
He's incredible. He's, I credit him as one of
Hollywood
my mentors
resident,
as well.
too, another Brown guy.
Yeah, I remember bottling his mango ketchups on the weekend with his brother Theo. And I mean, he was the first when I, was in West Broward and learning about what is James Beard, what's Food and Wine, and, all of these accolades, they were right here. There was the Mango Gang, Norman, Alan, Douglas, Mark Militello. These guys forged and paved the way for South Florida chefs.
Created an identity for South Florida.
Yeah, for the region, and it's really interesting what they were doing, and I think it's magical. I always say that more of us should kind of pick up that torch again. I think Chef Schwartz does a great job. Neben does a great job.
But I love what this second generation has become. You and Mike Beltran down at Area, and again, more diversity, more people of color, more different diverse backgrounds. And again, you've taken that torch of what they started and just keep going forward. I mean, I'm gushing praise here, but you guys deserve all of it.
I see it as all of the chefs, and like I said, that's why I always wanted the community. Yeah, Michelle's been here, and it's always, like when the queen bee or your mentor comes in, it's always like, make sure everything's perfect, everyone, we chef, and you want to make your parents proud, and like I said in the beginning, we've been truly blessed to have a lot of Miami chef friends kind of come up, quietly and say, hey, what's going on up there? Should we be looking out over there?
Nice.
So there's been a lot of chefs kind
what
of
you were looking for.
Yeah, and it's also like an ode. It's a testament because, like I said, Broward would always drive to Miami, but if you they've never come reverse. But
there are a few places here that are worth traveling from, either south or north. And again, I've been singing praises of you.
Heritage,
of course, Reno,
Heritage,
Brandon
Evelyn's.
Solomon. I don't know if you know him at Evelyn's at the Four Seasons. He is killing it with his Mediterranean Israeli cuisine and a really beautiful room. Again, these are the kind of places.
That's what makes it exciting.
Yeah, it's all good. Guys, thanks so much for having us in.
Thanks for having us.
It has been a pleasure. Anything? Well, two things. Holiday schedule around here? Are you open
Christmas,
for New Year's Eve or New Year's Day?
So we are closed Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Okay.
And then
with the family, those two young daughters,
with the
they're going to be ripping open presents.
Also with our staff too. Again, this is my midlife crisis restaurant, so it's like, let's get work-life balance. I think COVID made it all balanceable. So we're closed New Year's Day because we're just closed Monday, Tuesday anyway. We're lucky it fell on those days. And New Year's Eve we will be open for regular service with some specials. We'll bring in all the fancy stuff and have some champagne with our guests. We're really fortunate that it's been a slow growth, but very genuine. The patrons. The last thing I want to say is just thank you to you guys. Thank you to South Florida, sincerely, not just because whether you like my restaurant or not. I always told you when I first met you, thank you for all the work that you've done with the Sun Sentinel. For good or bad, we may have differences in opinion, but the dialogue has to happen. Because that's what's going to, educate everyone on the culture of what I love, and that's the gastronomic industry.
I'm with you guys. I feel for small restaurateurs, and when some of these posts come across the transom on the Let's Eat group that I helped, create this Frankenstein monster, and I roll my eyes.
Thanks for admitting Frankenstein.
It's a Frankenstein. It's a monster. It's a love-hate relationship. And I always have to hit the approve button if they are rules compliant. But, I always tell people, don't lose the forest through the trees, folks. If somebody's charging you $1 for a filtered water system and it's unlimited,
it's great water.
It's sparkling, it's bubbly, it's good. Come on. Don't lose the forest through the trees.
The food's amazing. That's the focus, guys.
I mean,
did Michelle Bernstein bitch about the $1?
Listen, Chef is always... She just says cook. She always says just cook from your heart. That was always what she said from day one.
I kid because I love it. And this place, again, the value that you get here, the type and the level of cuisine. Again, you're talking about a 3-time James Beard Award nominee with 3 different restaurants. And the value that you get here because you're spending less than a third of the price that you would have some places.
It's funny, my wife and I came here to eat for her birthday because I've been talking about it, and we came here for her birthday, and we looked at the check and we're like, oh no, they must have just given us everything free. And I'm like, oh wait, I don't think they did. We're like, what the heck price?
No, that's only me. That's my account.
We're like, wow, this is the price. We're like, geez, we need to come here more often. This is amazing. Like, you get elevated food at very, very rational prices. It's amazing.
They're killing it here. The Katherine, 723 East Broward. Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Fest dinner, January 8th, Tuesday night. Go online, get your tickets, VLFoodWine.com. Marissa.
Thank you.
Thanks, bud. You're the best.
Really appreciate you guys. And more about the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival coming up next on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
Max's, 9089 West Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. For more than a decade, a top spot for lunch, weekend brunch, and dinner at the Delray Marketplace in West Delray. It's a family-friendly dining room in a comfortable setting with also an outdoor patio that's pet-friendly. American classics like chicken and waffles, brick oven pizzas, chopped salads, and of course, great burgers, including the famous Farmhouse Burger and the traditional Prime Burger. Open 7 days with happy hour at the bar and high tops from opening until 6:30. For reservations and more information, go to bertandmaxes.com. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Southern comfort food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar, a great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. Hey, it's Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and daily fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have daily happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, and we're back on the Lunchbox. We changed scenery, and we're pre-taping this for the holiday week. And before we get to our next guest, I just want to mention, thanks again to Tim and Baloo and the Katherine and Marissa. But some good news: the event for the intimate dinner there at the Katherine is now a sellout. So, you can still check out the Katherine anytime, and there's plenty of other great events coming up during the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival week, including a couple that are going to be featuring this gentleman right here. You know him from the past. He's been on the Lunchbox before. He's been at Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival before. He's probably been to a city near you recently because Lord Honey, Jason Smith, welcome back. You just did a book tour. How many cities did you do?
Lord Honey, children, listen, I've been in so many cities, I couldn't even tell you, but I do know that we have been to date in 91 different cities. So
wow.
It's been since August.
That's just like you're touring like the Rolling Stones, and
honey. Except this is called the Rolling Cookbook. So
well, rolling bourbon, bacon, and butter tour, or something like that. The name of the book, and is this your first cookbook? It's Lord Honey, Traditional Southern Recipes with a Country Bling Twist. Congrats on the book, and I hear it's doing pretty well, eh?
yeah, it's doing really good. It is the first book, and it's doing great. And doing so good that they've already ordered the second cookbook, which will be out next year, late next year.
Nice.
So
Wow, that's always a good sign when they want more and more and more. I was
that's
looking through the book. It had all the recipes that I love and that has caused my cardiologist to block me. Things like the fried chicken, and I guess you do it chicken and waffles. I was looking through all kinds of good biscuit stuff, and
yeah, honey, we do biscuits, we do bourbon sweet tea fried chicken. We have chicken and dumplings in there. Listen, we've got Nanner's Foster waffles in there. We've got
mm,
everything you can imagine that is Southern, and we turned it on its head and made it even better than what it was before.
How do you
how
decide what goes from? You already did book one. It's kicking butt. How do you decide what goes into book two?
Well, that was kind of easy because book two is all about desserts.
Ah,
So it was a lot easier to do. It wasn't easier to do. It's still a hard process because you can only get so many cook or so many recipes in the book. So you still got to narrow it down. But the second book is called Lord Honey, 8 ingredients or less decadent desserts. So the hard part is making desserts. It's only 8 ingredients or less. That's the hard part.
that's all good stuff. Jason Smith, you know him from Next Food Network Star. He won a season of that. You know him from some of their baking competition shows. He's a judge on Best Bakers in America and Worst Bakers in America. That's always a fun one. I would imagine being a judge on a worst competition. What's that like?
Well, people say, "Oh, is that really real? Do they not know how to bake?" And yes, they don't. Honey, they don't even know where the oven is. So, it's not a glamorous job, but somebody's got to do it. And you're kind of looking at things sometimes, going, "Do I really actually taste this? Am I going to, is it going to kill me?" Or so. But it's one of those things. You take people that don't know how to turn on the oven and you train them by the time you get done that they can actually bake basic recipes. And so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun getting, of course, that's what I'm about, is teaching people. So
Right.
that's why I enjoy it so much. So,
You
but in the beginning, you don't want to eat a lot of what they're baking because
My favorite. I once had a roommate who was so bad he didn't know to like take the pie out of the box, and he just stuck the whole thing in the oven. And
oh,
it just the plastic wrapping started melting. Oh, it's just ugly. But I would imagine you would be a good teacher because you are a self-taught cook. I mean, you learned at the hand of your Grammy in Kentucky. You were actually by profession a floral designer, right? Florist.
Mhm.
And then you kind of branched into catering and working in a school cafeteria. But I get, well, I'm doing meandering, but I had a question because Kentucky Floral. Did you ever do anything involved with the Kentucky Derby and
Derby.
Blanket of Roses?
Oh Lord, yes, honey. I done a lot with Kentucky Derby. For years, I have a real good friend that lives there in Louisville that owns a event company, and I always usually go and help them with everything year to year. But we do all the big galas, all the centerpieces, the decorations. We do a lot of the roses that you see on television at the Derby. So we're always dealing with stuff at the Derby, and I have been asked to do food at the Derby, but usually I'm already booked to do the florals at the Derby. So,
Right.
but yeah, so we're always at the Derby, honey. And then the very first year that I won Holiday Baking Championship, I was a celebrity guest to get to go to Derby and get to do all the parties. So I would help at nighttime put everything together and then go to all the parties during the day. So
Nice. Well, you've gone from flowers to flour with
yeah.
butter and baking pans. And now we're talking about another big event. We're talking about the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival 2024 coming up the week of January 8th to the 14th. Just talk a little bit about your involvement, some of the things you're going to be doing, and what is it about this event that
you enjoy and that you wanted to come back.
You know, the one thing that I enjoy about, I've done a lot of food and wine festivals, but none of them like the Fort Lauderdale one. Fort Lauderdale is one of those food and wines that I appreciate, get to do every year that I can, because you get to meet so many different people out there and from all different cultures, and everybody is so nice. And it's always one of those things that they're eager to learn of what you're fixing to cook on stage, or come to your booth of where you're selling stuff and talk to you and different things. It is my total favorite. And there's so many different events with this one that a lot of them don't do. A lot of them just do like a grand tasting. They do a couple demos on stage, and that's about it. This one is one of those. Fort Lauderdale is one of those. There's stuff to do all week long. Like I'm in the dinner series this year, and you can buy a ticket and come and cook along with me recipes from the cookbook.
Yeah.
And then we're going to eat, honey. Listen, we're going to have more fun than two skunks a kissing in a corn patch. I can tell you, we're going to have a lot of fun.
What I love about this fest is, look, we've been to a bunch of them ourselves, and they're all fun, but a lot of the time it's one day, it's insane, and you're sort of like at arm's length with the chefs. What I like, and you just brought it up, that there's so many events that you get to like intermingle with the chefs, and you talked about teaching. You get to actually ask questions, and the chefs are not stressed out, where they're able to converse with you, and you get more of a feel of where the chefs are coming from, and then you get to dialogue, which I really enjoy.
Exactly. You get to interact with them. Like last year during Fort Lauderdale Food and Wine, I actually hugged more people that I didn't even know, and half of them didn't even tell me their names. So I was just hugging people. People was like, Lord, I've seen you on TV, and they're just hugging and taking pictures. And I do that a lot. But this was the only food and wine that I've ever been to that people can actually come up to you and talk to you and get a hug from you or get something signed. So it's all about the interaction with me. And this year we're doing even more. Like I said, I've got the dinner series, which I think there's still a few tickets left.
Yes, there is. Yep. And that's going to be on Thursday, January 11th at 6:30 p.m. And it's going to be taking place at the Sistrunk Marketplace. And it's great because you're going to be doing kind of entwined with the book. It's called Southern Cooking with a Country Bling Twist. And you're going to be working along with George Montes, who has a great cooking. He has a great following down here. And it's at 6:30. And again, tickets remain. And you get a book. I guess there's if you buy a ticket, it'll be included with a autograph cookbook, or will you autograph it for them? Yeah,
honey, we're gonna autograph them right there in front of them. I sign a lot. Listen, I signed 1,875 books in 4 hours for us to sell exclusively to people that couldn't make it to the cookbook tour.
My hand hurts just hearing about it. That hurts. And some of the things you're going to be cooking. Country fried steak fingers with garlic dill mayo. That's something I've never heard of, but it sounds good. Little fingers of country fried steak.
Lord, that's good.
And hoe cakes. Now, I'm not familiar with hoe cakes. Might be familiar with a few. Well, we're not going to go there. Hoe cakes.
Wrong show.
Crab and avocado hoe cakes. Is a hoe cake similar to like a hush puppy?
Well, kind of. A hoe cake is just a fried cornbread cake. So it looks like a pancake, but it's cornbread. So, and it has some other things in it, and then we're topping it with crab and avocado and different stuff. We're bringing the Southern Kentucky hoe cake to the southern part of Florida by adding the crab and the avocado and things like that. So we're turning it even more on its head than what it is in the book. So, but yeah, and I think beforehand we're having like bourbon limeade something.
Yeah, a little
drink,
refresher, a little cocktail.
Just to get your whistle wet and ready to go, you know. But it's going to be a fun night. If you haven't got your tickets, now's the time to do it, because they will go fast the closer we get. But it's one of those, it will sell out. But there's so much. If you miss out on that, Nancy Fuller and myself is doing a big north-south cook-off.
She told us about this.
Yeah,
We
we
talked to Nancy last week,
Mhm.
and I think, but two of you do have something in common, and that's a love of bourbon.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But yeah, that's going to be at the Grand Tasting, right?
Yes.
The big north-south battle, and you're going to be on that cooking stage. I believe it's the Allied Kitchen stage. And again, for
Yep.
all the tickets, vofoodwine.com is the website. If you use the Lunchbox promo code for the Grand Tasting, you'll get an extra 15% off the already low ticket prices. And it's going to be a grand old time. Lord, honey, I cannot wait. Jason Smith with Nancy Fuller at the Grand Tasting, and of course on the Thursday night, it's going to be a dynamite time. And yeah, I mean, I hope it's a little bit warmer than last year. You remember that? And we
Oh,
were all
whoa, honey, child, listen. Like the froze to death last year. I said, are we actually still in Florida? I mean, I was waiting on it to snow any minute. I was like, okay, this is not good. But it didn't keep people away, honey. They came, they looked like Eskimos, but they came bundled up and they drank their wine, honey, and had a good old time.
Isn't it funny when it's like it was 50 degrees, but it was a pretty windy day, but everybody's bundled up in their parkers. They got earmuffs, they got long johns, and we're a bunch of just I guess we're not used to that cold weather. It's not like Kentucky. What was the, I guess, weirdest city that you went to among your 91? Do you have anything standing out?
Oh, gosh. Weirdest city I was in on this last tour would have to be, I would have to say the oddest city would be Roanoke, Virginia.
Really? Okay.
Great people, great place. It's just an odd, where I was at was just an odd end of the town. It was like in the middle of nowhere.
I've been to Roanoke, and yeah, it is pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Virginia Tech University is it's way out there. You actually they do cow tipping as a Friday night activity. So
yeah, against the law, but they still do it.
Did you make it to my old stomping grounds in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and Greenville, South Carolina?
I was in Greenville, South Carolina. Yes, I was in Greenville. I was at the Mass General store there at Greenville. Yep.
Very nice. Well, you're going to be having a good old time in Fort Lauderdale, a little bit bigger, and hopefully it'll be much warmer than last year. Where do people get your book? Pretty much anywhere. Amazon.
Well, you can get my book just about anywhere. You can get them at your bookstore, local bookstores. You can get them online. You can get them from my website at southerncountryBling.com, and you just click on any of the buttons there, and you can order them right from there. You're going to be able to get them at the Fort Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. We got a booth that'll be set up right next to the cooking stage. We'll have the books there. We'll sign them and all that good stuff, take pictures. And as Granddaddy used to say, we're going to kiss hands and shake babies. And I said, I don't think I can really say that much anymore, but it's okay. He always said it. But we're going to be there with the books and everything. And it's just going to be a grand old time. But yeah, if you want to get a book and can't get to where I'm at, just go on to the website, southerncountryBling.com, and order them through there.
Lord Honey, it is Jason Smith. His cookbook is Lord Honey, Traditional Southern Recipes with a Country Bling Twist. And again, you can catch him throughout the week at the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival, the Thursday night event, and then the Saturday Grand Tasting. Jason,
we have the barbecue brawl, too.
Oh, you're going to be coming? Wait. We're not supposed to talk about our roles on given nights, but he will be there, and you're looking forward to that. Yeah,
that was fun. Yeah, that was great.
It was great, yeah.
It's going to be a good time all week long. Lord Honey, thank you so much. I hope you had a good Christmas.
Happy holiday.
We're in the aftermath. This is going to be airing next week. But, yeah, I'm sure it was a great holiday for everybody.
Wonderful, honey. Wonderful.
Thanks, we'll
all
see you
good.
there.
All right, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
And this a big thank you to Timon, his wife as well, the Katherine. Check them out. They're involved in the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. And thank you to Jason Smith. And check us out tomorrow as we're at Sicilian Oven in
Lighthouse Point. That's going to be a great show. I have a feeling you might see me making a big mess, but what else is new? All right.
Holiday, and we'll see you.
That's going to do it for tomorrow. Today, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Enjoy every sandwich.